Viewers, moving on to a breaking news, the Supreme Court is hearing a series of review and writ petitions related to the 2018 verdict permitting the entry of women of all ages into the Lord Ayyappa Temple. The issue has once again sparked a political debate in Kerala. In November 2000, well, viewers, it's Supreme Court is hearing will hear a series of reviews and writ petitions related to its 2018 verdict permitting the entry of women of all ages into the Lord Ayyappa Temple. A 9-judge bench will hear the Sabarimala review case on April 7. The 9-judge constitutional bench will hear the case. Viewers, the Chief Justice of India will constitute a 9-judge bench. It will consider 7 questions of laws. The Supreme Court has asked all parties to submit written arguments by March 14. The centre has stated that it supports the review petitions. The Supreme Court has appointed senior advocate K. Parameshwara as amicus curiae. And viewers, this is a big decision coming in from the Supreme Court regarding the hearing of the Sabarimala, and the Supreme Court says a 9-judge constitutional bench will hear the case, and the Chief Justice will constitute these 9-bench judge, and it will consider 7 questions of laws. And the Supreme Court has asked all the parties to submit written arguments by March 14. And viewers, the centre stated that it supports the review petitions, and the Supreme Court has appointed senior advocate K. Parameshwara as amicus curiae in the case. Now viewers, it's a big observation coming in from the Supreme Court regarding the case, and the Supreme Court will hear a series of review petitions, a series of review petitions and writ petitions related to its 2018 verdict permitting the entry of women of all ages into the Lord Ayyappa Temple. Now viewers, it's a big observation coming in from the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice of India said that a 9-judge bench will hear the Sabarimala review case on April 7th, and the 9-judge constitutional bench will hear the case, and the Chief Justice of India will constitute the 9-judge bench, and it will consider 7 questions of law. Now viewers, the Supreme Court has asked all the parties to submit the written arguments by March 14, and the centre has stated that it supports the review petition, and the Supreme Court has appointed senior advocate K. Parameshwara as amicus curiae. Viewers, the review petitioners or the party supporting them shall be heard from April 7 to April 9. The ones opposing the review shall be heard on April 14 to April 16. The rejoinder submissions, if any, will be heard on April 21, 2026. Well, viewers, the Supreme Court has appointed senior advocate K. Parameshwara as the amicus, and the review petitioners or the party supporting them shall be heard from April 7 to April 9, and the ones opposing the review shall be heard on April 14 to April 16, and the rejoinder submission, if any, will be heard on April 21, 2026. Now viewers, it's a big observation coming in from the Supreme Court regarding the series of review and writ petitions related to its 2018 verdict permitting the entry of women of all ages into the Lord Ayyappa Temple. A 9-bench judge will hear the Sabarimala review case on April 17th. The 9-judge constitution bench will hear the case, and the Chief Justice of India will constitute a 9-bench judge. It will consider 7 questions of law, and the Supreme Court has asked all the parties to submit written arguments by March 14. The centre has stated that it supports the review petitions, and the Supreme Court also has appointed the senior advocate K. Parameshwara as amicus curiae, and the review petitioners or the party supporting them shall be heard from April 7 to April 9, and the ones opposing the review shall be heard on April 14 to April 16. And the rejoinder submission, if any, will be heard on April 21, 2026. Well, viewers, it's a big decision by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court 9-judge bench will commence hearing of the issues referred in the Sabarimala review on April 7, 2026. The hearing is proposed to be conducted on April 28, 22. Viewers, I'm being joined by Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, thank you so much for speaking to News9. Now, it's a big decision, observation that has come in from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says that it will hear the series of review and writ petitions related to the 2018 verdict permitting the entry of women of all ages into the Lord Ayyappa Temple. How do you see this?
We would humbly urge the Supreme Court regarding our rights as believers. Article 25-26 is a fundamental right guaranteed by Indian Constitution, and we would humbly request the Kerala government to change their position, pivot their position towards a believer-friendly position where we have rights to uphold our faith. Article 25 and 26 are fundamental rights carried by the Indian government, and lakhs of women already enter Sabarimala. There is only an age regulation in Sabarimala. There is no gender restriction. So I hope Honorable Supreme Court will be magnanimous enough to concede our believers. Last time it went against all across. Nearly 12 states had protests. Nearly 6 nations had protests. And now, fortunately, Supreme Court took cognizance of our sadness, and the Supreme Court had the magnanimity to send it to a 7-bench and now a 9-member bench. So I hope courts will be sensitive, and we would humbly implore and beg courts and government to take a position on this.
Well, Rahul Ishwar, what are the precise legal questions the 9-judge bench is expected to decide on as far as this case is concerned?
Two aspects. One, whether how much government and courts can intervene in a religious affair or a spiritual affair. That's one thing courts will definitely be dealing with. And not only Hindu religion, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Parsi, Sikh, Jain, Jew, every religion's ambit is being brought, because earlier a 5-member bench said regarding 8 different questions that courts have to consider. What we are humbly urging is there are many questions and many layers of belief in it. Let us not intervene inside any faith for that matter. Rather, if there is something to evolve, let the reform come from within. And in Sabarimala, please understand, for centuries there was no casteism, no untouchability, and all these things here. So it's a great thing that Sabarimala has been above communalism and casteism for past many centuries. Sabarimala only have a young woman regulation regarding their age. Lakhs of women are already in Sabarimala. So it will rather be a larger question which involves Sabarimala, where and the reach of judicial reach and honorable courts ambit and government's reach, how much they can intervene in any religion for that matter. So this will be a landmark case in the history of India. Up to what extent you can intervene inside a religious practice or a religious faith, and this will be a clash between Article 14 and Article 25. Both are fundamental rights, so we respect them both, but we are simply request strike a balance between both Article 14 and Article 25. Article 14 is equality and Article 25 is the right to faith.
Well, Rahul Ishwar, you're mentioning about the different articles, but do the preferred issues go beyond Sabarimala and touch on broader constitutional principles like the Article 25, which is freedom of religion, and Article 26, right of denomination, and Article 14, which is equality?
It's a constitutional clash between two fundamental rights guaranteed by the Honorable Constitution. On one side, there is Article 14, which can be invoked, even though we humbly disagree with it. But our opposing side says Article 14 has to be invoked. We are saying Article 25 has to be protected. So it is Article 14 versus Article 25, if I have to be very impartial about it. As you know, I am one of the litigants in this case on the believer side. So I believe our side is better, but I understand the feminist argument, which I respect. I don't agree, but I respect their argument. They are saying Article 14 is there. So it is also a constitutional challenge to see which is more powerful. Is it Article 14? Is it Article 25? And we are saying Article 25 is a limited, very strong right to faith-based of argument, which should not be intervened and meddled with, because India is a land of great diversity, faith, religion, spirituality, and nobody should be intervening inside it, and Article 25 should be held sacrosanct. So that's our core argument, where we say, as you rightly said, the denominational right, each denomination inside Hindu community, which is called a sampradaya, community or denomination, should have their own rights and nobody should be intervening inside this. This is our core argument, because we believe Ayyappa is a Naishtika brahmachari or a celibate, and a young woman present is not, should not be there in his temple. That's our belief. And there are many people who question us. We respect their questioning, but we always maintain that temple is a private place for the deity and devotees, and nobody from outside should be able to intervene, because temple is not a public place, but a private place for the deity and the devotees. So no outside interference should be there, is our argument.